Hi students, welcome back to Computer Practice with Mr. H. In today's tutorial, we'll discuss an internal exam question paper. This one is from semester 2 of 2024. Alright, the actual question that we're going to discuss in today's tutorial, we'll find on page 12, which is about spreadsheets. And the first question there is retrieve the spreadsheet staff members from your student folder. You will find this question paper and the student folder below this video for downloading in the description field. Okay, so question 1. Retrieve the spreadsheet staff members that has been saved and in your student folder. We've opened the document. Question 1. Insert a header with your exam number left, question 8A on the right. So you have to insert a header. To insert a header, there's at least two methods that I will show you. The first method is you click on page layout, you go to the sheet options menu, and you go into the launcher. From there, you select header and footer, custom header, so that you can have your three sections: left, center, right. That's the one method. The second method is click on view and then select page layout. Under page layout, you will then also have the option to insert a header, which is on the left, center, and right. So you can choose whatever method you are more comfortable with. I'm just going to start here since I am here. So let's just quickly go back. On the left, it's your exam number, which is your ID number, and then question 8A on your right. Exam number. Question number, and always in capital letters. Okay. Once you are done with your header, you need to just deactivate the header by clicking somewhere else, and then you click on normal view, normal, so that you can go back to your normal view. Alright, that question is completed. Next question. Edit the document on the next page as indicated in the instructions and according to the manuscript size. What they mean by that is if you scroll down, there's also some manuscript signs like merge and center heading from cell A1 to I1, bold and italics. So what we need to do there is we need to go and merge and center this heading from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and then we click on home, go to alignment until you see the merge symbol here, or it will actually state merge and center, but you have to go into it to select merge and center or merge across depending on the instruction. So merge and center, and then you'll see that it gets merged and centered, and this must be bold and italics. Alright, next question. On the existing worksheet, insert a pivot table in cell B10 using the following data. So we need to go and insert a pivot table. We need to show only the staff members of January, February, and March. We need to filter to show only De Kock, Haynes, and Dubane. Display the total as a sum for all the values mentioned. Alright, let's see. If we go back, we are now going to insert a pivot table, but there's a few things that you need to know. Number 1, a pivot table, the range for that pivot table needs to be always in a data sheet that has clear columns. The first heading here is going to cause problems for you. Do not select the heading, only the data with clear column headings. Then you click on insert, pivot table from a table, range. Because you have selected the table, Previously, it will select that range for you. Then you select existing worksheet and you specify where the sheet must be inserted or the pivot table must be inserted. And then you click OK. Alright, so now you have your pivot table. Let's quickly go back to our question paper. Show only the staff members January, February, March. So only staff members January, February, and March must be displayed. So there's staff member January, February, and March. Next, filter to show only the Kok, Heinz, and Ndubane. For this one, we go over here because we have two pivot table menus here. Over on this side, row labels, select, and then you remove everyone else that is not the Kok, Heinz, and Ndubane. Click OK. And next question, display the total sum. The total sum, in other words, the grand total of each amount for all the values mentioned above. Let's go and see. Grand total, so that's the sum of all the values for January, February, and March. So that answer is already correct. So there's your pivot table completed. If you're done with it, you can just close it. This is your actual pivot table that you have created. Next question. Insert a line, sparkline, for the fuel that Bonongo used in cell J3. Insert a bar column, sparkline, for Heinz in J5. Win, lose, or loss, wins and losses, sparkline, for the fuel that Nketsu used in J7. Alright, so this question, all three of them, has to do with sparklines. Let's go and see how to do those. So first of all, okay, so we need to insert sparklines for Bonongo in J3, a sparkline for Heinz in J5, and a sparkline for Nketsu in J7. Okay, I've already went and highlighted or highlighted these cells for you. Alright, so number one, J3, insert a line sparkline. Over here we have sparklines. There's a line column which can be similar to a bar, and then we have win-loss. So you click on the first one, line bar. The data range that they need to create this sparkline for you is the data of Bonongo for fuel usage, January, February, and March. Click OK. The next one, insert column 1, which is for this one it's the bar. Again, same information, but for Heinz. And then the last one, Nketsu, fuel consumption over January, February, and March. So we need to select the win-loss, data range. Okay. There's my three sparklines. Next question. Question 8, insert formula and functions. Okay, now we get to the formulas. Calculate the average fuel usage using a function you are familiar with. Calculate the initials. Use the correct formula to insert one initial for each staff member. Calculate the gender character. Use the correct formula to insert the first character of the gender column. Use a function to number the staff members in column A. Alright, so those are the ones we're going to discuss in this tutorial. Let's go in. Formula A, calculate the average fuel usage using a function you are familiar with. We all know that to calculate average is equals average. Alright, and then you just double click on the little dot there in the corner so that it can copy the autofill the formula down for you. Alright, so that one was easy. That was N4 basic functioning there. The long way would have been, of course, if you clicked on formulas, insert function, average, click on it. It's going to ask you the number, you select the range, or you do it one by one. That one, the second one would be that one, the third one would be that one, and click OK to get the answer. Next, we need to do the initials. For the initials, we need to calculate the initials. Use the correct formula to insert one initial for each of the staff member. Alright, so let's see. For this one, we're going to use first the initial of the staff member. Mr. Bonongo is B. So this person, okay, basically this initial is first of all on the right of the cell, and it's the first letter on the right of the cell. And that's the information that we need. For this one, we're going to click on formulas, insert formula, and we're going to select right. We're going to use the equals right formula or function for this one. So the text that we need the text, and the number that we are looking for is the first number from the right. Remember, this is the right formula, so it only focuses on what's on the right side. We click OK, and there we have the answer. It's B, and then we can just copy or autofill the formula down, and it will copy all the initials. In other words, the first letters on the right for you. Of course, you could have also just have typed in equals right. Select your text, semicolon, 1, close bracket, enter. Same answer. Next, we have the gender character. Go back to the question. Calculate the gender character. Use the correct formula to insert the first character of the gender column. Again, we need to look at the first character of the gender column. So if we go back under the gender column, we need to determine the first letter. So the first letter will either be a F or a M. So, and all of this information is on the left side of the cell, on the left side of the name. So that's information that I need. Easy way, formulas, insert function, but this time you choose left. Same concept as right. So click on the information that you need and specify where is the first letter of what the instruction wanted you to specify. Of course, it all depends on what the instruction specifies. If the instruction said the third letter from the left, then you would have typed in 3 there instead of 1. But in this case, it's 1 because we're looking for the first letter of that range. And then there it is. And if we copy the formula down, there we have our answer. Next question. Use a function to number the staff members in column A. Alright, so for this one, we click on the second cell there because number 1 is already there. So we just need to add on to number 1 because we have to use a formula. Alright, so how do I use a formula to add numbers? So it's basically you select the cell just below the first number. You then start with your equal sign. You click on the first number, the cell of the first number, and you just add a plus 1, depending on how many times you need to calculate it. So we just need to add 1 to get a 2, and then a 2, and another 1 to get a 3, another 1 to get a 4, etc. So we press enter, and then we just copy the formula down. Okay, so let's look at the formulas and what we have discussed so far. If I go to activate my show the formulas, I would see that the formula to add a number is A, it's equal, you select the first cell there, plus 1, copy the formula down. We've looked at how to calculate the average of something by just using equals average. Then we determine the initials when we look for the first letter of a cell, of a word that's in a cell. In this case, it was on the right, so we were looking for the first letter on the right by using equals right. We did exactly the same thing in the opposite, but this time we used equals left. We were looking for the first letter from the left, and then we've inserted sparklines. We've inserted a pivot table. Okay, students, now let's quickly go to the next few questions, which is question 8b. I hope you have saved your question number, your spreadsheet as question 8a. Don't forget that. And then in an exam situation, you'll just have to print this document. Of course, one rule that will never change: always print your document and make sure it comes out on 1 page. A spreadsheet must never come out on 2 pages unless it has been specified by the question paper. So this whole document must come out on 1 page. How do you ensure that happens? You click on File, Print, and you check whether or not my document is on 1 page. And I can already see here from below that my document has 2 pages, and that is incorrect. So let's just double check our specifications. Print the spreadsheet with row and column headings in landscape orientation on 1 page. So with row and column headings in landscape. How do I do that? Very easy. First, you go into your page setup. Under page, you select landscape. Under sheet, you select row and column headings. You click OK. And that is what your document should look like for printing. Let's see what's on the second page here. There's a little bit of information that's on the second page, my sparklines in fact. How do I fix that? For this one, we have to go back to view. So you go back. You select View, you select Page Break Preview, and where you see this striped line, you click on it and you move it to the left, and then you select Normal again, File, Print, and you will notice now that you have 1 of 1. There's only 1 page. Alright, where is my header? I have not inserted my header, it looks like. So all I have to do is I can just click on page setup, header and footer, custom header, and insert my ID number. And question number in capital letters, always uppercase. Question 8A, and I click OK, and there my ID number is displayed. Okay, students, so we have now looked at question 8A, and we move quickly over to question 8B, just to finalize the printing of the formulas. So for this one, you should have saved question 8A, and then retrieve it again. Then you change the question number in the header to question 8b. Remember, how do we go back to headers? Page layout, under view, and we change this to 8b. Click somewhere else to deactivate the header and go back to normal. Okay, next one, change the question number. Number 3, hide column C, D, E, F, and hide the pivot table. So C, D, E, and F. So from C to F must be hidden. So we select it like I showed you there. Right click. I hope you are at the same spot where I am, and then you click on hide. The pivot table must also be hidden, so you select it by clicking on the numbers, the row numbers, and while you're still on the row numbers, you right click and select hide. Okay. Next question is display the formula or functions. So you click on formulas, show the formulas. Change the column width so that all the formula and functions are legible. At the moment, all the formulas and functions are legible, but what would you be able to do if they were not? So for example, the columns are not showing all the information. And just so you know, if you do not adjust your column widths, the marker will not be able to see the formula that you have created, and you will be losing your marks if that is the case. So what you need to do is you select your whole sheet by pressing Ctrl A on your keyboard. Okay, so before you press Ctrl A on your keyboard, first select one of the cells in your sheet, press Ctrl A on your keyboard, then you press Alt on your keyboard while you press the letters H, O, and I. Okay, so the shortcut for column widths is Alt, H, O, I. Alright, so that's how you adjust your column widths. And once you are happy, you go back, save the spreadsheet, and print the spreadsheet. Alright, so if we would have wanted to print the spreadsheet, this is what it would look like. Then specify that the print the spreadsheet with row and column headings in landscape orientation. So exactly the same as it is here. And that is your spreadsheet. Students, thank you so much for watching. Please join me in the next tutorial where we will be discussing question 9a, which is about if calculations, H lookups, and V lookups. Thank you, students.